is the idea of gender and what it meant to be like that when we got even like legal gender and what that looked like, because a lot of it plays with the fact that we're illegally married heterosexual couple.
I love that the way you just elided that, it made it sound like you say we're an illegally married.
It did sound that way.
No, we're legal. Well,
no, but we kind of are,
right.
you know.
And so it plays with those ideas of going and that, first when we were looking at getting married, how our ideas changed. That when we got together, I was male, legally, Social Security, and statewide Kestra was female both. Then I was male, Social Security, female, state ID. Kestra was male, state ID, female, Social Security, and then Kestra.
So we were like, well, we could be legally married on both levels. It's just a flip-flop.
Yeah, so did you choose like who was going to be what for the paperwork, or?
By the time we got legally married, I switched my Social Security back to female because I was sort of realizing like the safety issues of having mismatched in that way.
Right.
And mine got switched in some sort of backroom deal that I'm not quite sure what.
When you were a teacher.
It was while I was a teacher, and I was having to have this really comprehensive background check done, and all I can figure is someone was looking at paperwork in some back office and said, oh, well, that's not right.
And accidentally put an M.
Yeah.
And because several weeks later, I got a draft card in the mail with my Social Security number and a little M next to it saying, congratulations, you've been registered for the draft, and you may be called on to serve your country. And I'm like, well, if you call on me, guess what? But
so it's something we're going to play with a lot more.
So that's something that we're working with in the piece. But I mean, like, I don't know. Some of my more recent work is looking at legal gender issues as well, because my passport application was recently denied. As I was going up to Canada, you have to have a passport to get to Canada now, which I think is crazy. But I was presenting a paper on trans issues up there, actually. It was funny, all the questions afterwards were either about Thomas Beatty or ISIS on America's Next Top Model. Those are the media reference points right now. But my passport was denied because gender issues of my birth certificate versus my state ID. And they told me that I couldn't have a passport until I had surgery, pretty much.
And they couldn't give you a passport that said you were a woman either.
And they wouldn't give me one that said I was female. I was like, I'm fine, I'll deal with the border. It's Canada, whatever. I'll drop my pants and call my lawyer. But
that's one option,
but hey, I'll be the legal case, whatever. But they wouldn't give me. They told me if I submitted all this documentation, that they would give me a passport in the quote-unquote opposite gender. At which point I'm like, opposite to what? You've got two of them there.
And they did eventually.
And they eventually issued me one, but the whole passport denial thing, it's like clearly they're convinced that like trannies are some sort of terrorist that's set on taking down more than the gender binary. And it's just got me working on these images for this new piece of like drag queen terrorist training camp. You know, I'm thinking pink camos involved.
That sounds good.
You heard it first.
Exclusive.
Yeah, I'll just need to find space for it, and be ready for the FBI to come knock on my door. And so we hear that there's a terrorist performance piece.
Someone's been buying camouflage outfits in bulk. We needed to check this out.
Yeah. Hot pink steel-toed stiletto boots. Do you know anything?
Is that a weapon?
Weapon of mass something.
Something.
Wow. Weapon of mass seduction.
Ooh, that's the tagline.
That's the tagline for it.
That's the tagline. There you go. You heard it here first.
Creative inspiration happening on the spot.
Yeah.
Here we go, right, live in front of you.
Like, I'm fine. I'll deal with the border. It's Canada. Whatever. I'll drop my pants and call my lawyer.